Card King, here I come! Hello, music fans, music collectors, and all hobbyists. Welcome to the Card King Sports and Variety Show. I'm your host, the Catman, Brian Cataquet, a.k.a. the Card King. We are live on ABC's KMET 1490am.com. Your number one spot right here for news and talk on the West Coast. I thank everyone for tuning in this morning. On the telephone line, I welcome to the program legendary vocalist and Music Hall of Famer. We welcome in Larry Chance. Larry, Brian C., honor to have you this morning.
Hi, Brian. Honored to be here.
Larry, reading your career, it's been a marvelous career, wondrous career, and it all began in the mid-1950s in the Bronx, New York. Can you describe to our California listeners how that time in the Bronx, New York life was like?
Oh, it was a wonderful time. It was a happy time. Guys just hung out on the corner, and all we'd do was sing all afternoon.
Now, you were originally you originally was from Philadelphia, right? Then you moved over to the Bronx, right?
Yes, South Philly to the Bronx.
To the Bronx. And then around 1957, I believe, you saw that this was something that you can do for a living, so you formed your first group, right, with 5 buddies?
Yes, and the second floor boys from at Evander Childs High School in the Bronx. And that was the beginning of it for me, and I knew then what I wanted to do the rest of my life. And I've been fortunate and been able to do it.
Now, that first group, the name, it was called the Hi-Hatters, correct?
Yes, it was actually the same group, but we wanted to get spats and patent leather shoes and a 3-piece tux with tails, hi-hat, cane, white gloves. So we all went to our parents asking for money for the clothes, and we're all told to get a job. So we decided, well, that's not going to work. So what we'll do is each guy wanted to have a different name for the group. So I remember saying, you know what, the only fair way will be, I have a little pocket dictionary. I'm going to open it up with my eyes closed, put my finger on a word, and whatever it lands on, that's what we'll be called. Agreed? They agreed, and I opened it up, put my finger down, Earl, nobleman of high rank. I said, that's it, with the Earls.
Now, Larry, I'm always curious to ask, all those talented bands back then in the New York City tri-state area, Jersey had the Seasons, right? You had the Elegants, yourself. How was the business back then? Was it cutthroat? Did you guys get along? Were you competing for the gigs?
Not like it is today. There was a camaraderie among us. And no, it wasn't cutthroat at all. Not back then.
And then around 1964, it's been told in music history, when the Beatles took over, right? Did it put doo-wop in the back seat? You recall being concerned at that time when the Beatles came into town?
It put doo-wop to sleep.
Really?
Well, listen, the Four Seasons prevailed, the Beach Boys, Motown, but that was about it. As far as Drifters, Duprees, Earls, Elegants, Cadillacs, we were done for, in terms of recordings.
And then in 1961, Larry, that was when you first scored, right? That was you created "Life Is But a Dream," right? By Rome Records, released it, and that was your first.
Yes, that was our very first chart recording.
Can you talk a little bit about that? We have a cut of it, but can you talk a little bit about how that song came into creation?
Actually, that came about. We were singing on the corner, and someone handed me a business card. And I followed it up, and it was Trade Martin, and I had an organization called Trade Martin and Johnny Powers. And he took us into the studio, and Murray V.K. Kaufman, New York disc jockey at the time, had a popular show. It was a call-in. He put on 5 records each night, and people would call in and vote. So we had every kid in the North Bronx with a pocket full of dimes calling in, and we broke the record. And the 5 songs per night for 5 days, and then on Saturday it was the Boss Record of the Week contest. We won that, which guaranteed us 2 weeks of airplay, and that's how that song broke.
And you mentioned Trade Martin, who was also a musician in his own right?
Yes, had his own hit record.
Yeah, he also had other groups besides the Earls. He had Dell and the Escorts and the Glens, etc. But it seems like the Earls really made it big with Trade Martin compared to those other 2 groups.
Yes, we did. Fortunately. And he also charted himself, and he was a great studio sideman on guitar, great player.
And I got to tell you, then in '62 is when you really scored. You scored it with "Remember Then." I know you must have told the story 1,000 times. How did "Remember Then" come about?
We had actually had a demo of a song called "Remember When." We had an audition with Stan Vincent, who was a record producer at the time. And Stan liked the song "Remember When," but made some changes, and it then became "Remember Then." And it was shopped to the majors, all of whom turned it down. But High Weiss at Old Town Records loved it and released it. Thankfully.
Yeah, so you mentioned Stan Vincent. Now, on the back of that record, "Remember Then," you also had "Let's Waddle."
Oh, my God.
Remember that?
Oh, do I remember that. It was an awful song, but it's one that I wrote. I'll take I'll take the blame.
But you also co-wrote another hit, "Never." Now, that's a classic. Yes. Tell us about that song, "Never."
Well, High Weiss wanted something along the lines of "Remember Then." So we came up with No, Never Fall in Love Again. And he liked it. And he decided that he would record us. And fortunately, it became another chart recording for us.
And then in '63, you scored it big again with "Eyes." That's another classic. And, we have a cut of that, which we're going to play. Talk about "Eyes" in '63, Old Town Records.
"Eyes" was written by Vic Thomas, who was a friend of ours. And we liked that one the first time we heard it. And again, that was a Old Town recording. And that made the top 100.
And on the back of that one was, in the back of the record "Eyes," you had "Look My Way." Remember that one?
That's one that I co-wrote also.
I mean, you've had an amazing career, and I really consider you, Larry, one of the pioneers of the vocal style of doo-wop, using those nonsensical syllables in your music. I think I would say you pioneered that.
Well, I love doing that. We sang on the street corner, so we had to vocally do what we felt instruments would do. And I come up with the shingalinga-choop-chops and pat-a-pat-a-bop-bop, choop-bop, and it was fun. It was fun. Still is.
Yeah, so what I want to do is I want to play a few of your classics, and then we could discuss them a little bit. Let's play Larry Chance and the Earls.
Will you take part in my life, my love? That is my dream. Life is but but a dream. It's what you make it. Always try to give. Don't ever take it. Life has its music. Life has its songs of love. Yes, life is but a dream. I'll never fall in love. No, I'll never kiss your lips.
So there it is. You just heard Larry Chance and the Earls, and with us is the legendary Larry Chance. Larry, great stuff. They don't make music like that anymore, you know?
Well, we still do.
Yeah, you still do, yeah. But what's out today, it's really, really garbage. I like the vintage stuff. It's like good vintage wine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you like today's music, Larry?
I don't like rap, but there's some country things I like. I like some jazz things, and a lot of my buddies are still recording, and I buy their stuff. So it's still out there. The music is definitely out there, but you have to search now to find it.
Right, and now you also have a website, LarryChanceandTheEarls.com. Talk a little bit about the website. That's where we can find your next, your touring schedule and your brief history, right?
Yes, and there are some songs there they can listen to, and photographs, and also on Facebook, our Larry Chance and the Earls fan club, loaded with photographs and articles, and it's really a fun page.
And the group still continues to perform, as you mentioned. Talk about the members of the band, Larry, of the group.
Well, Bobby T. Trabuzio, drummer, second tenor voice. We've been together for almost 60 years.
Wow.
And there's Bob Coleman, plays bass, sings bass. Bob has been an Earl for almost 40 years. Chuck Marizzo, guitar, baritone voice, a member for approximately 20 years. And our newest member and keyboard player and first tenor voice, Vito Garcia, has been with us for, 5 or 6 years.
Wow, you mentioned Bobby T. Bobby T., now, did he play? I read something that he played a little bit with Dion. Is that correct?
Bobby's played with Dion and back Patti LaBelle, and he's played drums with quite a few people. He's a great guy and kind of like my partner. We've been together so long.
So long, and not only is he a really good drummer, because I catched his videos on YouTube, but he's also a singer. He's got a great voice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, he does.
Tremendous voice. And I remember him. I saw this video of him telling a story that I don't remember the year, but he asked you if he can sing at one of the shows. I don't know if you recall that. He said, "Larry, can I sing?" I don't know if you recall that when he asked you to sing.
When he what?
Yeah, I was watching a video he did, Bobby T. He did an interview, and he said he asked you once, I don't remember the year, I can sing. Let me get a chance to sing, and you let him sing on one of the shows.
Oh, yeah. Yes, and that's how that came about. He originally was a drummer, and then he became a drummer vocalist. And originally the Earls were just singers. Now we play and sing.
So the Earls lasted into the 1970s, and then you had a solo career. How is the difference between the two, Larry? Did you enjoy performing solo, or you get more energy with the group?
Well, in actuality, I never left the group, but I lived in the Catskill Mountains, which was known for performers would come here like Alan King, and I got to work with all these people. Alan King, Joan Rivers, Nipsey Russell, just the biggest names in show business. And because I lived here, I got to work with them midweek. And if the Earls weren't busy, I got to open for one of the stars. So, but I never did leave the group.
So you always stayed with the group, and you guys still perform, and the website is LarryChanceandTheEarls.com. Now, an interesting thing that I did not know, Larry, about you and your career is that you worked 10 years for the Imus in the Morning program.
Yes, I did characters on the show.
Wow, so how was that like? I mean, you must have really got along with Don Imus, huh?
Don and I were close, yes. He was an incredible, his mind was incredible, the things he'd come up with. But it was, in our show, I do a lot of comedy. I've always wanted to be a rounded entertainer. And so there's always comedy with the Earls. And again, it was easy for me to join Imus. And he was a mentor in terms of my comedy.
And the famous character that you played, one of them was Geraldo Santana Banana, right?
Yes. He was the vice president in charge of Editorial Opinion, and he was crazy.
Could you give us a little bit of Geraldo Santana Banana here?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are Imus in the Morning, Manachamente. Would like to take a moment to say hello to everybody. And he would just go on and rant and rave. I also did a character called Rainbow Johnson and the Boys, where I got to do up parodies, things in the news and so forth. That was fun to do.
Give us a little Rainbow Johnson if you can, Larry.
Say, killing this Rainbow Johnson. Me and the boys got a little ditty for you. And then I do a little ditty.
Give us a little ditty.
Unfortunately, I can't do 5 voices. But if I find one of the old ones, I'll email it to you.
Yeah, and you also put a nice opening to the Imus in the Morning program when you sang. You put a mix of your songs together in caricature form. It sounds so great. When
we also got to open for him when he performed live on his Imus in the Evening shows. And we do Westbury Music Fair, and those were fun gigs with Don as his opening act.
Amazing. Now, you were also inducted into the Bronx Walk of Fame, and, you know, you share some prestigious company with Colin Powell, Regis Philbin, Red Buttons, Bobby Darin, etc. How is that feeling like? Emotional?
I was very humbled, you know, to be recognized and to share a spot with those people is incredible. And I was also very humbled 2 years ago to become a member of the East Coast Music Hall of Fame. And very humbled, very, very humbled.
I mean, you know, you've accomplished so much. Anything left for you to accomplish that you're looking to accomplish in your career?
I just want to keep going for as long as I
Right, and you're still touring, so you have a schedule set up for 2021. I'm looking at your website. You want to talk about a few of the venues? Let's hope this pandemic, we get a vaccine.
Well, I've got my fingers crossed as to whether or not we'll be able to perform in 21. So let's all hope so. But in the meantime, we've got you to listen to.
Yeah, no, and the thing is that, I mean, do you still get that? I mean, being on stage, you must still get that. Like when you hear your music on the radio, what does it bring you back? What does it remind you of?
How lucky I've been. How lucky I've been to have a career all these years, to know that people still like what we do. They still come out to see us. They support us. I'm very fortunate indeed.
You know, and Larry, you know, I consider you. You know, Bruno Sammartino was called the living legend of wrestling. I consider you the living legend vocalist of doo-wop music. You know.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, so what do you got planned? So what's been going on in your life now? What have you been doing? Keeping yourself busy?
Well, we were in the studio recording again. And our Christmas album is out now. It's always re-released every holiday season. And we're still recording. And if the folks go to the website or the fan club page, they can hear the recordings. They can also purchase albums, CDs, etc.
And they can purchase any, like, do you sign autographs for fans if you get a request in the mail?
Oh, of course, absolutely.
Now, Larry, you a sports fan at all or no?
Big time.
Really? You baseball, football?
New York Mets.
Oh, you're a Mets fan.
New York Rangers. New York Jets, unfortunately. And New York Knicks.
I bet you those Mets of '69 must have been fans of yours, you know, listening to your music back then. Those '69 champions. I mean,
oh yeah, you know, I just spent some time with Ron Swoboda and Eddie Kranepool.
Oh, really?
Great guys.
How was that? How was that experience like? You guys known each other for a long time?
No, not really. But I mean, I've met them before. I've been on a dais with Ed many times. But it's a thrill to me to be around those guys. I idolize them. And then to find out how nice they are is also a special feeling.
Well, listen, you know, I have a couple of minutes left. Any final words for the audience here?
Well, again, they can go to the website, LarryChanceandtheEarls.com. And our Larry Chance and the Earls fan club page. We have a wonderful young lady, Bonnie Silvestri. She's the president of the fan club. She does a great job, and I'm sure they'll be entertained if they go to that web fan club page.
And Larry, final question. The song which you created or co-wrote that you're most proud of in your career, is it Remember Then?
Probably Never.
Never.
And, you know, we recently did a ballad version of Never. You know, most groups take a slow song and jazz it up. We took a song like Never and made it a slow doo-wop ballad. And again, they can hear that on the fan club page or on the website, probably.
Well, listen, it's really an honor to have you. I really appreciate your time.
Well, it's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. And, you stay safe and happy holidays.
Thank you. Back at you. Take
care, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That was, music legend of all time, Larry Chance and the Earls. And please, I encourage everyone to go on to LarryChanceandTheEarls.com and read his biography and some of the songs we spoke about here. And also take a look at those YouTube videos of Larry Chance when he was working for the Imus in the Morning program. I mean, it's just great stuff, funny stuff. Really a legend in entertainment, and it was an honor to have Larry Chance. So we'll see you next week. Everyone stay safe, and happy collecting to all.